So at the end of my video for I Heart the Metal Gear franchise, I put up another Twitter poll asking you which of these 4 franchises do you guys want to see. I had TMNT, MLP, Castlevania, and Power Rangers, and as you can tell by the title and my t-shirt, it is Power Rangers. And holy shit, this one was a really, really goddamn close one. Because like at first it was like Castlevania was winning, and then MLP was winning, and then it went back to Castlevania, and then just at the end, like the dark horse that it had been there, but just never fucking was winning at any point. Just like in the last like few hours, just pulled ahead, and Power Rangers won it. So, boom, we're talking Power Rangers, baby. Now, being a man in my early 30s, I got into it the way most people did, and that was just I was a kid, and it was showing on TV, and it was the new hot thing. This was one of the big pop cultural phenomenons. If you were not around when Power Rangers first came out, you have no clue just how big Power Rangers actually was. From your perspective, just Power Rangers has been a thing that's always been around. Like, you really don't know just the influence, just how big it actually was. I would say there are 3 big pop cultural phenomenons that took the goddamn world, or at very least the US, by storm. That was TMNT, Power Rangers, and Pokemon. And like each one dethroning the last. And yeah, Power Rangers was the hot shit. Like, it was everywhere. The show was the most popular show at the time for kids. You know, parents even had to know about it because kids wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. It was everywhere. It was on blankets and t-shirts and everything you could imagine. The toys were the top selling toys. And it was huge. And that's just kind of like how franchises kind of were back then. You know, like something big would come along and it would be like the big new phenomenon. Like, we haven't really had anything like that in a really long time. I think Pokemon was the last thing that I can personally remember being this huge phenomenon that took the world by storm. Not even the MCU, like, hit the popularity of the 3 things that I just mentioned. And you might be thinking, like, really? Power Rangers? Because, you know, if you, like I said, if you weren't around for that, Power Rangers has always been a thing. It's always been a thing that's kind of sort of popular. You know, it's always been kind of culturally relevant. But, you know, whatever. It was just another show you grew up with. But for my generation, like I said, it was a phenomenon. When the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers hit, we had never had anything like this. As far as kids programming went, it was cartoons. We had cartoons that were toy commercials. And now, for the first time, we had a live action series, like martial arts driven series with giant robots and spandex clad superheroes, and it was cheesy and it was cool and it was fun and it was everything that like that kids were really just super into. Like, you know, and it was also part of that kind of transitional period where, you know, like, oh well, like, you know, the toy commercial thing for cartoons was starting to die off a little bit. You know, like, cartoons were starting to go like in a more mature route with like X-Men, Spider-Man, and Batman. And then you had like this whole new thing that was Power Rangers, and it could just keep riding that kind of kid-centric wave that Ninja Turtles had left behind. And it was awesome. And like a lot of people my age, I rode that hype train so hard as a kid. I thought the Power Rangers were the coolest shit ever. And I don't know if I thought the Power Rangers were like the coolest shit ever because marketing told me they were the coolest shit ever, or if it was just because I genuinely thought as a kid, this is the coolest shit ever. I remember when I first heard about it, I was just like, oh, what is this thing? Oh man, they're like superheroes. I never heard of these guys. Oh, they have a giant robot. Oh man, they fight monsters. And I was so into like Godzilla, like the cheesy show it you're a Godzilla movies as a kid. So getting to see like, you know, like these spandex clad heroes, you know, because I was also super into like superheroes, you know, getting to see them fight like, you know, these big kaiju looking things, and they had a robot, and I loved Voltron as a kid. So this was like this crazy amalgamation of all these things that I loved. And going back to it, it doesn't hold up. Especially like the original Mighty Morphin. Like, people will tell you, like, oh, the original Mighty Morphin is the best. You know, you can't top the original. That is coming from people who watched Mighty Morphin at like age 8, never fucking went back to see if it was still good, and never really checked out the other shows. They just kind of wrote them off. Because there's no way in hell you can tell me that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is as good as some of the shows that came after it. You know, hell, even like by the end of the Zordon era, like I would still say like Zeo and In Space are better than the majority of Mighty Morphin. But yeah, like I said, I rode that hype train, and I stayed with this franchise for a fairly long time. In fact, I apparently jumped off around the same point that a lot of other people jumped off, at least watching it actively, which was around Lost Galaxy. And then in space, you know, they killed off Zordon, and that started like this whole new era of Power Rangers where it wasn't the same continuity-driven show that it had been. Now it was more about, like, you know, like a new set of Power Rangers every damn time, you know, vague allusions to the grander overarching mythos, and I didn't really dig Lost Galaxy. Like, I was kind of super excited about when it first was announced. I thought it looked really cool, but then like the Beast Zords that they had, I thought the Galaxy Zords, I thought were kind of lame looking, like specifically like how they were like these big actual furry creature looking things. I was just like, it looked a little too goofy, especially considering what we had just had with In Space, which is definitely the darkest and most mature. Like, Countdown to Destruction, the finale of In Space, is still one of my favorite parts of the entire goddamn franchise, and I've seen it again like in the last 5 years, and it still holds up. It's still great. It's still, you know, kind of held back by some of the cheesy, campier elements, you know, like some of the cringier elements of the early Saban era, but it was still, like, it was good. It was damn good shit, and I still love that. Lost Galaxy, I didn't really give a fair shake to, I think. I kind of ditched it too early because I was like, this is kind of weird. And I didn't like the fact that it's like, oh, well, how the hell do you have, like, these new villains? I thought, like, you know, the Z-Wave wiped them all out. I was picky about continuity even back then. Like, I think I was, probably my freshman year. Like, yes, I was still watching Power Rangers by that point. Maybe my freshman year or, like, my last year of middle school. I don't remember when In Space it ended. But, you know, I kept, you know, going back and forth. Like, I wasn't watching it as religiously as I used to, but I was still going back and forth. Like, you know, I'd watch some episodes, and I'd go leave, and I'd come back, and I'd watch a few more. And I would never watch, like, entire seasons anymore. So, like, I saw chunks of Lost Galaxy, thought it was... Actually, by the end of it, I was just like, damn it. That was actually pretty cool. I wish I had seen more of that. Then Lightspeed Rescue came around, and I was just like, oh my god, the idea of, like, militarizing the Power Rangers was, like, that was actually cool. Like, you know, like, the powers were made by people, like normal humans, designed to fight these crazy-ass demons that had been sealed away. And the fact that they were like a rescue unit, that, you know, because that to me, I always loved that kind of heroic idea of, you know, like the superhero going to save the people. And, you know, that's what, like this generation of Power Rangers were. They were not just about, let's go fight the monsters, you know, the Lightspeed Rescue Team. They were actual, like, part of, like, a military force, and, you know, they're specifically to protect and save people, and I really love that concept. But like I said, I wasn't watching it very consistently. I would catch episodes here and there. I don't even know if I even saw the finale of that one. And then, what the hell's next? Time Force. Time Force came around. And once again, I thought Time Force was so fucking cool. The mere fact that the Pink Ranger was the leader, I thought was so fucking cool. I was like, oh, right on. I mean, yeah, there was a Red Ranger. And, you know, technically, like, the story was focused around him being, like, you know, the eye-level character for the audience, like the new guy just brought in. But he wasn't, like, even though, like, you know, he was, you know, technically the Red Ranger, he's, like, the story was focused on, he was the protagonist, the leader of the team was the Pink Ranger. And she was awesome. She was such a badass. I loved what I saw of that show. Once again, I don't even know if I saw the finale. No, I did see the finale of that one. And after that, though, then, like, what was it? I think, whatever the fuck came out there, like, Wild Force. Didn't see any of Wild Force except for maybe 1 or 2 episodes. And that's kind of what became the trend. I would catch 1 or 2 episodes of different Power Ranger shows. Like Ninja Storm, I would oh, that looks kind of cool. And I was like, oh, there's like a 3 Ranger dynamic. And I'd watch like 3 or 5 episodes of that. Then there was Dino Thunder, and I was like, oh, cool, like, they brought Tommy back, I'll watch a couple episodes of that, and, you know, I got to see, like, you know, some of the cool Tommy-centric episodes, which were always awesome. In fact, like, Tommy was the inspiration for me growing my hair out long. Like, if you're wondering, like, you know, like, the long hair, that is all, like, Tommy Oliver from Power Rangers, because I was like, dude, like, he's got, like, long hair. And, like, you know, being a kid in, I want to say, I think that was still the 80s. Being a kid, no, it was the early 90s. Yeah, so like being a kid in the early 90s, I'm like, guys can have long hair? Guys can like have their ears pierced? What is this crazy new world we live in? So yeah, like I was totally about that, and I grew my hair out, and I thought it was the coolest thing. Probably wasn't, probably still isn't, but whatever. So yeah, like Power Rangers definitely had like an impact on me, and after about, like I said, like Dino Thunder I think was like the last one I ever really saw any of, and then we go on a really, really long time, and I had gone back, I like torrented like some Mighty Morphin back in the day, and I was just like, oh yeah, like it's so cheesy, it's so good, I love it so much. And I was always kind of waiting for it to come back in some way, like, you know, like be streaming or something, because I always kind of wanted a physical release of Power Rangers. And it finally eventually happened. Now, before I get to that, you know, like I said, Power Rangers kept on going through like the Disney era, and I didn't really watch any of the Disney stuff at all past Dino Thunder. I just did not see any of it. And finally, Power Rangers was canceled. That was it. Disney got rid of it. And it's like, oh, okay, well, shit. And then I don't know what led to this happening. I think it was my roommate back then that got me to watch Shinkenger. And because like I was always kind of interested in the Sentai, like the Sentai element of the show, but I just never got around to ever watching it. Like I tried to watch like a few episodes of Zyuranger that I could find subbed. I was only able to find I think 5 or 6, and I was like, that was really cool. I want to watch more of that. And I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go watch some Shinkenger, like, cause that was like the newest thing, or maybe it was the second newest, because I think the one after it, the one that Megaforce is based off, I'm already blanking on the name, but yeah, like, you know, like I was watching Shinkenger, and I was just like, dude, this is so fucking cool. And then Power Rangers came back as Power Rangers Samurai, and they were adapting Shinkenger. I was like, oh, cool. And then they just kind of did a shittier version of Shinkenger. Oof. Yeah. That kind of sucked. And for the record, I never actually did keep up with Sentai, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, man, what do you think of Super Sentai? Like, how many have you seen? I saw Shinkenger, and that was it. Because I don't really like torrenting. I don't really like pirating. It's just not my thing. Like, for some reason, like, it feels like such an inconvenience to me. It's not even like, oh, like you know, I'm morally opposed to illegally downloading this thing that isn't available in my country that I have no other resources left for. It is a matter of, I just don't like going through like the loops of going to the site and trying to find like a good subtitle version. I just rather find like an official source. And yeah, fuck it. I don't like torrenting. I don't like the whole fan subbing thing. I'd rather just have officially released subs. Power Rangers was back underneath like the Saban umbrella, and then they put, when this announcement happened, it all hits Netflix. And like I was just like, you know what? I want to watch some of these older Power Ranger shows that I just missed out on. So I decided to just kind of work my way backwards, oddly enough. Because, you know, I was just like, alright, I want to, like, you know, start at, like, the last one that was made. So, you know, because I wanted to see, like, Disney when it really hit its stride. I didn't want to jump in at, like, Wild Force or, like, Ninja Storm or whatever, like, you know, where they're still kind of finding their footing. I wanted to see what they did, like, when they really hit their stride, when they really had, like, this franchise figured out what they were doing and what their vision for it was. So I jumped in at RPM, and oh my god, guys, I love RPM so much, but, like, that was, like, a wave of nostalgia. Like, I'm like, oh my god, guys, because I've never seen RPM. I don't mean, like a wave of nostalgia, like, oh man, RPM's so good, it's been so long. No, like, oh my god, Power Rangers is cool. Guys, I love Power Rangers again. Oh my god. And, like, that, it being put on Netflix and being that easily accessible to me immediately reignited my love of Power Rangers. I thought RPM was so fucking cool. And then I just started working my way backwards. I then went to Jungle Fury, and, like, Jungle Fury I thought was great. And fun fact, I actually did see a little bit of, I think it's Geki Ranger. A buddy of mine was watching it, and he got me to watch a couple episodes with them, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Honestly, compared to, like, the little bit that I saw of Geki Ranger, and then was it Geki Ranger? Fuck, I think that's not. I forgot how the hell they titled that one. Whatever, the one that, whatever the oh my god! Whatever the Jungle Fury Sentai was, that is the one that, that I'd seen a little bit of. And comparing that to Jungle Fury, I honestly really like what they did with Jungle Fury. I like the, like, they work in a pizza place, it's not like this weird organization with, like, you know, these kind of, animal suit people, you know, even though they do that at the finale of, Jungle Fury, which I thought it was a cool throwback in that one moment. But yeah, I loved Jungle Fury, and I would say to this day, Jungle Fury and RPM are still my favorites. I feel like, you know, those are like, you know, two iterations of Power Rangers that are so completely divorced from one another, because you have like as dark as Power Rangers gets with RPM, and then you have whenever it's, you know, like kind of it at its silliest and goofy and most self-indulgent with Jungle Fury. But like Jungle Fury, even though it's silly and more like self-indulgent and ridiculous and goofy, you know, it's not cringy in the same way that like old era Saban stuff was. Like, this was like, you know, really well crafted camp comedy, and like RPM was a legitimately great Power Rangers taken serious action series, and I loved the absolute fuck out of both of those shows. Going through, then I kept going backwards for a while. I watched Operation Overdrive, which was fucking garbage. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, it has such cool fucking ideas, but it was such a piece of shit. Like, it was so fucking terrible. It is the one iteration of Power Rangers, other than like the first half of Turbo, where I can go, yeah, no, that was a terrible Power Ranger season. That was, like, I mean, like I said, there's cool shit there, but it doesn't hang together well at all, and it's a complete clusterfuck, and I just, Operation Overdrive was so goddamn bad, people. If you haven't seen it, go see it, just so you can see how bad it is. Because, as per usual, if I have to suffer, everyone should join me on that roller coaster ride to hell. So yeah, I get past fucking Overdrive, and I get the Mystic Force. Mystic Force was weird, but it was still really cool. I liked it for what it was. And I think I kept going backwards up until SPD. SPD is where I left off. I still haven't finished SPD. Not because I think it's bad, just because I was busy doing other things, and I haven't gone back to continue my grand adventuring back through the history of, like, Power Rangers. I did also watch Power Rangers Samurai at one point. Like, just Samurai, not Super Samurai. I haven't gotten to that yet, because I don't know reasons. But I watched all the Samurai as well. Like I said, it's watered down Shinkenger with white people, which honestly, okay, you know, I'm definitely far from like the SJW type, and I demand diversity in my shows, but, you know, I demand strong, you know, female and minority leads in my shows. Like, I mean, I like seeing them, but I don't think they're like an inherent necessity. But really though, Shinkenger was the one opportunity where I'm like, guys, why don't we have an Asian Red Ranger? Because I'm realizing, like, I don't think we've had an Asian Red Ranger yet. Like a Japanese guy or a Chinese guy be the, like, it's usually like the Blue Ranger, the Black Ranger, the Yellow Ranger. They never get to just be the Red Ranger. They never get to be the fucking leader. They're usually like either like the stoic type, or they're like the comedic character in the show. They never just get to be the leader. And Shinkenger, or not Shinkenger, fuck, Power Ranger Samurai was an excellent opportunity for them to just, you know, instead of, you know, because, like, I mean, like, the guy's last name is still fucking Japanese, because it's still, like, what, like, the Shiba clan or whatever? So, you know, why the hell is this goddamn honky the fucking leader of the Shiba clan? Why is this fucking, like, Japanese samurai clan led by a white dude? Like, I can understand, like, you know, if, like, you know, like, I mean, is this like the descendant of Tom Cruise from, like, The Last Samurai? Like, he just culturally usurped, like, the entire samurai culture, and then developed, like, you know, the calligraphy morphers, and, you know, like, that's why, like, is that where, like, the Shiba clan comes from? Is Tom Cruise the original Red Samurai Ranger? So, yeah, like, honestly, I really think that was just a really dumb choice on their part to just make sure they had a white guy there to be the leader. Because, I mean, it's not like we haven't had, like, minority Red Rangers. I mean, we've had Black Red Rangers, we've had, I think, Latino and various shades of brown, but I don't think we've ever had, just, you know, an Asian, I almost said yellow, Jesus Christ. We never had, like an Asian, or specifically like an Oriental Asian Red Ranger. I thought, like, that's a really missed opportunity on Samurai's part. Like, they didn't have to, like, try to awkwardly work around it, which they didn't even try to awkwardly work around it. They just, he's a white guy. Why? They didn't even come up with a reason for it. He was just a white guy who had a Japanese name. So yeah, like, I still love Power Rangers. I still really want to go back and finish my grand backwards trek through the franchise. Yeah, and then check out all the new Saban stuff. I've seen some of Megaforce. I thought it was terrible. Well, it's not terrible from what I've seen. It's okay. It's like, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to recapture the magic of the original Mighty Morphin. Whatever. It's not good at doing that. And then there's like, I hear, what was it, Dino Charge? Yeah, Dino Charge I hear is fucking rad, so I really want to see that. I really want to see the new Ninja series that they have out now that I don't remember the name of. You don't need to tell me the name in the comments. I have the internet, guys, and whenever I go looking for it, whenever that time comes, I will find it via that. You don't need to type it. It's Power Rangers this Force or whatever. Yeah, so like I said, I still love Power Rangers. It's still something that's very near and dear to me. And at some point, I still want to go back and continue my viewing adventure, my expedition through, like, backwards to the history of the Power Rangers. No, that wasn't supposed to be a nod to Linkara, but honestly, Linkara actually played a pretty big part in me wanting to watch Power Rangers again, because watching him go through the series again, I'm like, oh man, Power Rangers was really cool. I really want, like, he made me so nostalgic for it. So yeah, like, it was so awesome that it hit Netflix and I got to just watch in its entirety like that. So yeah, that's everything I had to say about the Power Ranger franchise. Pretty much, like I said, still near and dear to me. Still love it. Love it for its campier elements. I love it, like, the fact that the franchise has evolved. As far as my thoughts on the new movie, I didn't want to see it. I still haven't seen it. And when I do see it, I will probably make a Xeon just watched about it, because I'm sure I'm going to rent it the day it comes out. I'll Redbox it, whatever. But I will say, though, that, like, I don't have the highest expectations for this film, but I keep hearing good things. I keep hearing surprisingly good things, and I'm like, well, fuck. Like, even Lance, Missed Air Fusion, like, really enjoyed it. Like, and he hated the two things. He still hated the two things that I hate about it, which are the Zords and the suits. But, he said, like, the story, like, he was saying that the story and everything else, like, all that stuff is great. And I'm not really looking forward to seeing it. But it went from being this thing that I'm boycotting. I'm not even gonna fucking watch this shit too. Alright, I'll give it a fair shake. And when I do, you guys will know, because I will do a video about it. So yeah, that's all of my thoughts on the Power Rangers franchise. I love it. It's cool. It is a part of me. It will always be a part of me until I die. Along with everything else that I hold near and dear to me. I will make another poll on Twitter. You guys can go vote on that for what the next one of these will be. I'm thinking it's probably going to end up being a poll between, like, the same Castlevania, Ninja Turtles, MLP, and I think I'm probably going to add Pokemon to that list. And because Sun and Moon, or, like, the new Pokemon stuff was announced, that'll probably end up sweeping the votes, but who knows? Because I know a lot of people have been dying for me to talk about some of these other things that keep losing these voting polls. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Till next time, guys, Xeon, out!